This is my ranking of the best parkour games on PS5 that I've played, based purely on my personal experience. Each one is placed from masterpiece to trash, depending on how smooth the movement feels and how fun the traversal is. Let's get straight into the list. Rooftops and Alleys. The Parkour game is a third-person parkour adventure built around fast movement across urban rooftops, where every jump, vault, wall run, flip, and landing depends on precise timing instead of combat or story, making skill and practice the heart of every challenge. After spending time with it, I realized the controls ask for much more precision than I expected, and my early mistakes slowly turned into clean runs across every rooftop. Chaining long jumps into smooth rolls and keeping my momentum alive felt rewarding once everything clicked. I also liked chasing faster times, because every successful run encouraged me to improve my route. The single-player content started repeating itself after a while, but jumping into multiplayer changed everything. Escaping other players in tag mode made every shortcut and rooftop matter, and those matches created the most exciting moments I had. I'm placing this one in the excellent tier. Mirror's Edge Catalyst is a first-person parkour action-adventure set in a futuristic city ruled by powerful corporations, where fast movement, rooftop routes, wall runs, slides, and precise jumps are more important than weapons, while missions connect through an open city filled with optional activities and challenges. As I spent more time running across the rooftops, I remembered why this series stood out. Building speed, linking moves together, and reaching places without breaking my momentum felt exciting every time. The first-person camera made every jump seem risky, and landing a long chain without mistakes was satisfying. I also liked how the city encouraged me to search for faster paths instead of staying on a single route. The story never held my attention, and many side activities repeated the same ideas, so my excitement faded before the adventure ended. Even with those issues, the movement alone kept bringing me back for another run. I'm placing it in the good tier. Neon White is a first-person action platformer where a group of assassins compete in heaven by eliminating demons as quickly as possible. Every level mixes fast shooting with parkour, using special cards that work as both weapons and movement abilities, turning every stage into a speed-running puzzle. Once I understood how those cards worked, every run became faster and smoother. I kept experimenting with different routes, looking for ways to finish each stage in less time while keeping my momentum alive. Pulling off a perfect chain of dashes, double jumps, grapples, and enemy takedowns made every successful run exciting. I also liked how the ghost system encouraged me to improve instead of settling for my first attempt. The story and dialogue never matched the quality of the action, but the level design, movement, and replay value stayed outstanding from beginning to end. This one easily belongs in the masterpiece tier. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is a stylish action platformer set in a vibrant city, where graffiti crews battle for territory through movement instead of racing. Grinding rails, wall running, boosting, air dashing, and performing tricks across huge environments are the heart of the adventure, while earning reputation unlocks new areas and challenges. Once I learned how everything connected together, moving across the city became hard to stop. I loved finding long routes that linked rails, walls, and rooftops without losing my combo. The boost and air dash added much more freedom, letting me recover from mistakes or discover creative shortcuts. I also spent plenty of time chasing higher scores because every successful combo pushed me to explore more of the environment. Combat was only average, and a few interruptions slowed the pacing. But the stylish presentation, incredible soundtrack, and satisfying traversal kept bringing me back. I'm happy to place this in the excellent tier. Dying Light is an open-world survival action adventure set in a city devastated by a zombie outbreak, where first-person parkour is essential for crossing rooftops, climbing buildings, escaping infected, and reaching objectives, while the danger grows much higher after nightfall as stronger creatures begin hunting survivors. After spending time in Haran, I quickly realized that running was usually smarter than fighting. Jumping across rooftops, grabbing ledges, and climbing tall towers made traveling much more exciting than simply walking through the streets. I also liked how the day and night cycle completely changed my approach, because I became much more careful once darkness arrived. Escaping fast infected across rooftops created some of my favorite moments, especially when I barely reached a safe zone in time. Some story missions slowed the pacing, and a few objectives became repetitive, but the satisfying parkour and constant tension kept every trip across the city entertaining. This one lands in the good tier. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is an open-world superhero adventure where Miles protects New York while Peter Parker is away, swinging across the city, wall running, climbing buildings, and using acrobatic movement combined with new electric venom powers and camouflage abilities to create fast traversal and stylish combat. After spending hours exploring the city, I never got tired of moving from one rooftop to another because swinging felt smooth and incredibly fast. Mixing web swings with wall running and launching myself through the streets made simple travel enjoyable instead of feeling like a chore. I also liked how Miles' new abilities added fresh options during fights without slowing the pace. The story kept me interested, and the snowy version of New York looked beautiful while I searched for side activities. I only wish the adventure lasted longer because I wanted more reasons to keep exploring. This easily secures a place in the excellent tier. Assassin's Creed Mirage follows Bassem ibn Ishaq through the streets of 9th century Baghdad, where stealth, rooftop navigation, careful climbing, and hidden blade assassinations are the keys to completing missions instead of overpowering enemies through direct combat. After spending time exploring Baghdad, I enjoyed moving across the rooftops more than walking through the streets. Linking climbs, vaults, jumps, and rooftop sprints made traveling quick and satisfying, and I often searched for higher paths to stay out of sight. I also liked that stealth became much more important because fighting several enemies at once was risky, encouraging me to plan my approach instead of rushing forward. The city looked beautiful and rewarded exploration, although I wished there were more interesting activities outside the main missions. The adventure also ended sooner than I expected, leaving me wanting more time with its parkour and stealth systems. I'm placing this one in the great tier. Dying Light 2 Stay Human continues the zombie survival series in a massive open city, where rooftop parkour, climbing, vaulting, wall running, and gliding are essential for exploration and survival. Powerful infected become even more dangerous after dark, making movement the safest way to stay alive while completing missions across the city. After unlocking more traversal abilities, I found myself looking for rooftops instead of roads, because moving through the city was much more exciting. Chaining together long jumps, wall runs, swings, and glides made every trip feel fast and rewarding. I also liked how almost every building encouraged me to climb higher, letting me create my own routes instead of following a single path. Nighttime made every mistake feel dangerous, and escaping infected across rooftops created plenty of tense moments. The story and choices never matched the quality of the movement, but the freedom to explore and the outstanding parkour kept me playing for many more hours. This one finds its place in the great tier. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered lets Peter Parker protect New York through fast-paced superhero action, combining web swinging, wall running, climbing, and acrobatic traversal with fluid combat as players stop crimes, complete missions, and explore every corner of Manhattan. After spending time in the city, I found myself constantly taking the longest route, because swinging between skyscrapers was simply too much fun to rush. Blending web swings, air tricks, wall running, and quick launches kept movement smooth from beginning to end, and I rarely used fast travel because crossing the map was enjoyable by itself. I also liked how random crimes and collectibles encouraged me to keep exploring instead of sticking only to story missions. The combat remained exciting thanks to its speed and variety, while the emotional story kept me invested until the credits rolled. This one easily belongs in the excellent tier. Assassin's Creed Unity recreates revolutionary Paris as a massive urban playground where Arno uses fluid parkour, rooftop navigation, stealth, and hidden blade assassinations to hunt down those responsible for his adoptive father's death. After spending time crossing the city's rooftops, I appreciated how much smoother the movement felt compared to earlier entries. Climbing buildings, dropping into busy streets, and finding creative routes across Paris made exploration enjoyable, and I often wandered away from missions just to see what I could discover. I also liked the redesigned assassination missions because they rewarded planning instead of rushing straight toward the target. Combat was more challenging than before, making stealth a much better option in many situations. Although the story wasn't among my favorites and technical issues appeared from time to time, the outstanding city design and satisfying parkour kept me exploring for hours. I'm placing this one in the good tier. Titanfall 2 combines fast-paced first-person shooting with fluid parkour and massive mech battles, following rifleman Jack Cooper as he fights alongside the Titan BT through a war across futuristic battlefields filled with inventive mission designs and high-speed action. After jumping into its campaign, I was surprised by how smooth and responsive every movement felt. Wall running, double jumping, sliding, and chaining everything together made each encounter exciting, while every new level introduced a fresh mechanic that kept the action from becoming repetitive. The time-shifting mission quickly became my favorite because moving between timelines while keeping the momentum flowing felt incredibly satisfying. I also enjoyed how the mech sections changed the pace without taking away from the excellent movement on foot. Even though the story was fairly simple, the creative level design and outstanding traversal made every mission memorable. This easily earns a place in the masterpiece tier. Ghostrunner 2 is a first-person action platformer set in a cyberpunk future, where players sprint through dangerous environments using wall running, grappling, rail grinding, dashing, and precise sword combat to defeat enemies in a single hit before they can strike back. After getting used to its fast pace, I found myself constantly trying to chain movement and attacks together without breaking momentum. Every level introduced fresh ideas, so the action stayed exciting instead of repeating the same challenges. I especially liked the parkour sections because they mixed wall running, grappling, and clever environmental mechanics that rewarded quick thinking as much as fast reflexes. The motorcycle sequences also added a fun change of pace while still keeping the speed high. Although it demanded patience and plenty of retries, every successful run felt incredibly rewarding because I knew it came from improving my own skills. This comfortably earns a spot in the excellent tier. Assassin's Creed Shadows introduces two distinct protagonists in feudal Japan, pairing the stealth-focused shinobi Naoe with the powerful samurai Yasuke as they hunt dangerous enemies through open regions filled with castles, villages, and hidden paths. After spending time with both characters, I found myself returning to Naoe much more often because her movement and stealth made exploration far more satisfying. Climbing castles, crossing rooftops, and slipping through enemy strongholds without being seen captured everything I enjoy about the series. I also appreciated the more challenging combat, which encouraged careful timing instead of relying on simple attacks. The redesigned map rewarded natural exploration, making discoveries feel more exciting than following endless icons. Although the story followed familiar ideas at times, the beautiful world, improved traversal, and refined stealth kept me invested throughout the adventure. This one deserves a place in the excellent tier. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 expands New York with two playable heroes, letting Peter Parker and Miles Morales swing across the city, glide through the skyline, climb towering buildings, and battle iconic villains using fast-paced acrobatic combat and new symbiote abilities. Once I unlocked more traversal options, moving around the city became the highlight of the entire adventure. Blending, web-swinging with gliding made traveling faster and more enjoyable, and I often ignored the next objective just to keep exploring. Switching between Peter and Miles also kept the action fresh because each brought different abilities and combat styles. The major story missions delivered plenty of exciting moments, especially the battles involving Venom and Kraven. While some side activities slowed the pacing and I occasionally ran into technical issues, the smooth movement, polished combat, and spectacular set pieces made it difficult to put down. This lands in the excellent tier. Those are the parkour games that impressed me the most with their movement and traversal. Share your favorites in the comments, and maybe I'll discover another great parkour adventure to play next. Thanks for watching.